All right guys, exciting day. The fuse sticks are behind me on the rack, so we're gonna go take a look at them. I'll give you guys my first impressions, and we might even test it out and compare it to some other Bauer sticks. Let's go. All right, check it out guys. The fuse rack, the entire teal rack. This looks pretty crazy. Let's pull one of these off and see what it looks like. Pretty sick. So starting up top, we'll go over the graphics first. It's got this really shiny teal, almost metallic, which looks pretty sick, going down the top of the stick. And then we've got this kind of layered graphic. It goes teal, silver, gray, teal, kind of stacked. I think that looks cool. Some stripes going down. We got the Bauer logo in black with the teal outline. And then we got the Supreme logo in black with the teal outline as well. I like that they did all the graphics down here in black and then all the flash is up at the top. I think this looks pretty sick. Supreme used to be yellow. There's some yellow and green sticks for a while, but now they're going teal, and I honestly think it looks sharp. Tell me what you think in the comments, but I'm kind of digging the teal. And overall hand feel, first impressions, there's something interesting going on the back of the stick here. We've got the ER spine from the Nexus Tracer sticks. So apparently this stick is kind of an evolution of that Nexus Tracer into Supreme, which is pretty cool. And then overall just hand feel right off the bat, it's feeling pretty light. Balance also feels pretty good. We'll have to take this in the shooting room and compare it to some of the others and see how it really feels. The first stick we're gonna compare it to is the Proto. That's because this is a mid kick. The Proto is also a mid kick, but they're gonna have some differences because this stick is made of boron and it does not have the ER spine. So that's the first comparison. The second comparison, we gotta go down here to the Tracer. That's because this stick does have the ER spine, and this new fuse is kind of an evolution of that Tracer. So we're gonna see how they feel against each other. And then of course, we'll see how they feel against the Proto too. So let's do it. I think I'm gonna start with the fuse and the Tracer because they are pretty similar. They're both rocking that ER spine. This fuse is supposed to be an evolution of the Tracer, so let's compare these and see how it feels. Fuse stick has a new Fuse Flex profile, so it's actually supposed to be easier to load than the Tracer. Both of these sticks are labeled as 360 grams each. They're both feeling pretty light. For some reason, the Fuse feels a little bit more balanced. They've updated the resin on this stick to be strengthened in the spots where you need it the most, and I wonder if that also helped with the balance. The Tracer just feels a tiny bit blade heavier. It's not crazy, but there is a little bit of a difference on initial hand feel, which is pretty interesting. Both sticks though, 360 grams. Let's shoot them. We'll use the Tracer first. Not too much to complain about. Nice mid kick point stick. Feels good to shoot. Definitely familiar. This stick's been out for a while. That ER spine fills the hand nicely. Honestly, not too much to say. Feels nice. Let's see if that fuse is an improvement. I think this stick has better balance. It could be placebo because it's a brand new stick, but I don't know, I feel like it has better hand feel. If you guys come in and test these out back to back, let me know what you think in the comments, but I'm thinking the fuse feels a little bit better to stick handle. Let's take a couple shots. Now remember, this stick should be easier to load with that new flex profile, so let's see. Honestly, Ty said my shot looked better. It did feel better. I think this might be a little bit easier to load, like they said. It just feels a little bit smoother, if that makes sense. Trying to explain this to someone who's maybe never shot the stick before. The tracer felt good, nice mid-kick feel, but this one's a little bit more effortless, if that makes sense. You can kind of just wind up, fling it. You're gonna get a lot of power because it's a mid-kick. It feels great, honestly. I'm a fan. I think this is definitely how Bauer explained it, an evolution of that tracer stick. It's a tracer that feels a bit better, maybe a bit more balanced too. So I definitely think it's an upgrade, but I want to compare it to that Proto 2. That's a boron stick, so it's going to be lighter. It's going to be a bit more rigid, not as easy to shoot, but does it provide more power? Let's find out. Full boron build with no ER spine. So they're both mid kicks, but these sticks are kind of opposite to each other. If you were coming in looking for a mid kick stick, this is the one I would recommend to somebody who's looking for the most power and the lightest weight stick with that traditional hand feel. And then if you're going with the Fuse or the Tracer, that's gonna be the one that's a bit easier to shoot. It's not gonna be as lightweight, but it's gonna be maybe a little bit more forgiving when you're taking your shots. Let's see how this feels. Definitely some nice weight right off the bat though. This thing's light, it's that boron material. Yeah, that boron has some really nice pop. All right, hopefully that came across on camera, but the shots with this stick are pretty crazy. That boron material just has some wild pop. No ER spine, obviously, so more traditional hand feel. And it's not as easy to shoot. I've said this about boron sticks before. They might have the craziest pop and probably the lightest weight compared to the other materials, but they're a little bit more rigid, so you need to lean into them a bit more. This is gonna come down to a personal preference thing. Do you wanna have to lean into your stick more to get the power, or do you want the ease of use? That decision's up to you, but let's rank these three sticks. I'll tell you how they feel. All right, this is a tough one because three great sticks. How do you rank them? I'm gonna go Nexus Tracer in third. No huge knocks on this stick, but it's the older version. The new one has some improvements, so this ends up in third place. Now this is where things get really difficult. Honestly, these can probably be interchanged at number one. It's gonna come down to your preference on what you want. For me personally, I feel like I shoot harder with the Proto 2 because of that boron material, so I think this might hop up into my number one slot. But if I was someone who's looking to have the most ease of shooting when I'm on the ice, a stick that can kind of do everything, you can shoot it from everywhere without having to think, then I might go with the Fuse instead. So this is gonna come down to a personal preference thing. How do you play on the ice? What's your play style? What are you looking for in your stick? Ease of use or ultimate power?